Hey fellas and fillettes, ladies and gentlemen, men and women out there in YouTube land. So I just got in. I've been out all day doing errands, and told you guys the other day, I said I wanted to get another scarf, another pashmina scarf, or aka cashmere scarf, right, that would kind of blend in with this old coat of mine and the rest of society, right? So that way I could walk among, you know, the normies and just look like just a regular person, right? So I looked and looked and looked. I went through over 20 pages of products, right, for scarves. I finally found one. Now this one is shorter than I would like. Okay, it's shorter. It's 66 inches. They said it was 72 inches, but it's 66 inches. So I had somebody order this for me. I said, hey, I need this scarf. So they ordered it up for me, and it ended up being 66 inches. Whoever's selling this counted the fringe. You should not be counting the fringe as part of the length of the scarf, because that has no value to tying it around something, right? But anyway, that aside, it's a pretty darn good scarf. Houndstooth red with black, right, pattern. It's 12 inches wide. I generally like these wider, but it's very difficult to get a nice wide one. And believe it or not, it's very difficult to find real cashmere at a decent price. This came from Scotland. It says it's made in Scotland, right? 100% cashmere. The only thing I didn't like about their little label was it has a Union Jack on it. If it says made in Scotland, it should have a St. Andrews. Okay? Do you agree? That's just my opinion. Alright. So, I'm going to show you how I wear a wide scarf like this. What I do is this is what I do. I make sure it's equal length, pretty much, right? Just like this. So here's your scarf tutorial for the day, right? This is how I do it. So I take the bottom part of the scarf and I put it down here at the bottom of my collar on my coat, whatever coat it happens to be. And then I grab the top part of the scarf and I just barely tuck it into the inside of the collar there, right? So that way I can have it like this if I want, after I've got it tied, right? So I could, you know, move it down or up, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it up. That's pretty much where I want it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these ends of this collar and I'm going to make sure they're outside of the scarf, and then I'm going to tie this underneath my beard. I'm going to tie it in a square knot. So I'll just start the square knot, make sure the beard's outside, make sure I still got my scarf down in the back, ends are still out. I'm pretty warm right now, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of burning up right now. But, you know, the thing is, I'm just trying to give you a little tutorial thing here. Alright, so we get it like that, and then we go ahead and we're going to go ahead and square it up. And now we can have it up, and we get that side protection we want right? We get that side protection that we want, and then if we want to, we can go ahead and drop this back down, and then I just tuck it behind the collar. See there? That's how I do it. And then I'm not losing my scarf either, right? Because I got a little square knot here. I'm not losing my scarf accidentally. Right. So it's just a little bit short, but it'll do. And I think it looks pretty good with this tartan on this coat. So yeah. And it was under $10 US. You'll say, well, that can't be real. Well, I looked through about 200 ones that were not real, because when they say that they're made of rayon or viscose, viscose, or anything else other than silk and pashmina, you know, that they're not real. So anyway, you can only do so much. You gotta try to do your best, right? So you can only do so much. Yeah, so I'm gonna get this thing off now. But one thing I always do when I have just a little tip, okay, for you guys that have buttons, right? Especially you get something like this. This is an antique coat. This coat is almost 90 years old. So one thing I do is one of the first things that I do when you have an antique coat that has buttons, you get yourself some Coats upholstery thread in the appropriate color, and then you're gonna hand sew. You're not gonna remove the button. You're just gonna hand sew and get, you know, 3 or 4 passes around the original thread on each button, and then knot it on the back. Okay, and these are all been done like that so that I don't lose these antique buttons. That's just a tip for you. That's what I do. That's what was done with this originally when I got this coat, to make sure I never lost those original buttons, you know, because try to replace them. Yeah. Anyway. So, still pretty warm. Got this 100% wool watch cap on. And I have 100% wool jumper, sweater. And then I have this 80-20 wool underwear top that I showed you guys the other day. The Bringy stuff, the mesh long underwear, I had somebody try to order me some of that, and the bottoms were out of stock, and they said they could get tops, but because I want to go ahead and get them, because there may be a time when you just can't get stuff no more. You know, you guys think, some of you guys think that everything is going to be like a big party here in 10 days or so. I don't know how many days we got left till the swear-in, but nah, man, things are kind of wild right now. Talks of, you know, we're going to take over Greenland, and we're going to take over Canada, and we're going to take over Panama Canal, and blah blah blah. You know, I mean, this is a lot of craziness that nobody's ever seen before with anybody in the history of this country, basically. So I think that, you know, you guys need to be ready for anything to happen, you know. got to be ready. And they're not pushing to go back to the gold standard. They're pushing to go to their own digital currency to go against this BRICS thing, right? And look, I'm not getting no digital ID in my hand or my forehead or anything like that. No, just not doing it. I'm not going to go along with the system, right? Just not doing it. Under any circumstances, even penalty of death. So I'm not going to not worry about all that stuff anyway, because I'm protected because I'm in the Lord's hand, right? So, coffee. It was snowing outside earlier, and the weather this past month and a half has been very typical New England, you know, with it being snow, rain, ice, sleet, back to snow. A nice day where you could practically wear a t-shirt. Freezing rain and wind. Back to snow and ice. Yeah, that's how it is around here. But the thing is, you know, people say, oh, climate change. But you know, the thing is that let's talk about this climate change for a second, okay? Because I don't like to dwell on it too much because we have people that are hardcore one way and hardcore another, and then I'm just kind of here in the center because I stop and I look at stuff and I take a long time to evaluate things before I really make my decision on it, which is what a lot of people should be doing, right? If I say climate change is man-made, if I say that, all of a sudden people will just go ballistic. Some people will go ballistic. Some people will be like, yeah, you're right. Without thinking about what else am I going to say after that. Well, here's my explanation of what's going on. Climate change is being changed by man, but here's the caveat. It isn't our cars. It's not, you know, gasoline powered cars and all that nonsense. It is not. If you go to the International Space Station, yes, we did go to the moon, by the way. Yes, you can go to Antarctica. Yes, you can go to the North Pole. Yes, you can circumnavigate the Earth. Okay, you could go around the globe. Okay, but people outside of the regular people's control, people are doing things to our atmosphere using machines and processes to change the climate. That's what they're doing. Doesn't have anything to do with your automobile or your motorcycle or your truck. It doesn't have anything to do with that at all. If you go up to the International Space Station, like I was just saying, if you go up there and you look out the window, you will see just how friggin' large this planet is. And then you will say, there's no way that automobiles could cause quote-unquote climate change. All you got to do is see the size of the Earth and see how minuscule we are in comparison. You could fit, and talk about population, you could fit the world's population in one small section of the United States. You'd pack them like sardines, but you could fit them all into one small section of the United States. The entire world's population. I'm not kidding you. Just think about it. You have to sit back and you have to think about this. You got to look at this with logic. Okay? You got to look at it with logic. Come back at another one. I've been out all day, so, you know, I need to get some things off my chest, right? Have a little fun with this stuff. See you there.